Hey everyone, I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper. As you can see, this is a little different view today. I am not sitting down in my chair like normal because I wanted to take a moment to show you my brand new crafting space. My husband and I purchased a new fifth wheel over the holidays, and this one has a hidden office dedicated to a stamp area for me. So I finally have my little stamp studio and all of my stamping materials at my fingertips. So let me take a moment and turn the camera down, or camera actually around, so we can go inside and I can give you a sneak peek at what it looks like. Thanks for joining me. So here is the entry into my space, and that is my pup Jordy. He's very curious as to why I'm talking to myself right at the moment, apparently. But my fifth wheel walks into a kitchen and then goes up the stairs into the living room. So this is our television, couches, living room area. But the great thing about this fifth wheel, and we loved it a year and a half ago when we saw it, so we've definitely been keeping an eye on it, is that you pull open the TV, and voila, there is my new craft space. So this space finally allows me to have all of my materials at my fingertips. We've got tons of cabinets above and below, and I'm able to put everything in there. We are working on some organization still. I've got to add a couple of shelves to the cabinets. I've got to figure out how to anchor these in place when we travel so things don't shift. So I'm working on some different options for that. And anchoring some of my always used things so I don't have to pack everything up when we move, because we are a rolling earthquake in this fifth wheel. But I'm super excited because finally I have a place for everything at my fingertips and I'm not running all over the RV looking for things when I need them. So with that said, let's get started on our project. Give me a moment to change up the camera and we'll get going. Are you ready to get started? Let's get going. So today we are creating this really cool pop-up book card. You probably saw this in the thumbnail, but this is what we're creating. It's so cool. It sits up so fun. It folds flat for mailing. Super, super cute. But most especially, today marks the start of Sale-A-Bration and the new Mini Catalog. Excuse me, I'm getting over actually COVID, so I'm a little bit hoarse still. I'm going to try really hard not to cough too much. But starting January 7th, which is today, the new Mini Catalog has come out, and along with it, Sale-A-Bration. So we are going to showcase some of the items that are in this catalog. Today we're going to play around with the Storybook Friends suite of products. Let me find it. I know I tagged it. This catalog is just chock full of the most adorable options. So this is Storybook Moments. This is a whole suite of products. You can save some money and just purchase the bundle. Or if you're like me, I still save money when I purchase a suite because I'm not going back and forth going, oh my gosh, I didn't order this. Let me order it and pay more shipping and blah, blah, blah. So in my opinion, buying the suite saves you money as well because you have everything and you're not going back and placing more orders. So the Storybook Moments suite comes with so many things. There are the Storybook Garden Patch stamps and coordinating dies. And there's also the Storybook Friends stamps and dies, some embellishments, paper that you can use all year round with everything, and the most adorable Storybook Friends Storybook Moments Designer Series paper. So this is some of the products that we're going to be using today, and it makes so many fun cards. One of the things I wanted to point out is the die from the gardening set actually has little slits in it, and you can slip in the little vegetables. So it's interactive. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to plan a card that uses those. And then also the dies have these beautiful frames that you can use on so many things besides this stamp set. So take a look at the catalog, the mini catalog. There's so many fun things. And as a bonus, of course, every $60 you spend, you get free products from the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And I'm going to show you later, some of the products in here coordinate with the products in here. So you can give yourself a little bonus. So enough about that. Let's get started. But don't forget, there is a link to my blog online with all of the cutting instructions, and also There'll be a link to my online store, which is where you can find that catalog to look at. It's a great idea catalog as well. All right, enough of that. Let's get started on this card. So what we're using today is the beautiful Designer Series paper. This paper is absolutely gorgeous. Storybook Moments 12 by 12. It has 2 sheets full of little punch outs, which I've already punched out and put in an envelope because I use them a lot and I don't like it when they pop off the paper. There's also 2 sheets of this that are kind of like pre-styled pieces that you can cut out to add to cards. And tons of the cutest little designs that go along with these stamps. And of course, as always, they're double-sided, so you get a lot of options for your card crafting. So that's the Storybook Moments paper. And we are going to use this piece right here on our card, which I absolutely love. It's just so, these little animals are so sweet. It brings you back to my childhood. And then I decided to pair it with some Designer Series paper, and I wanted something subtle. And I actually pulled these pieces out of the new Everyday Skies 6x6 Designer Series paper. I really like this paper. I can't wait to play around with it because on one side you have all of these skies, gorgeous, gorgeous skies. But on the reverse side, you get some very nice background papers. So this one had, it's sort of a pale pink and it's got these little birds flying around, and I thought it was really sweet with this paper, so I decided to go with that. And then Azure Afternoon is one of the prominent colors in this paper. So I decided to use that for my base, and then of course I've got basic white. Now remember, you can look on the back of your, actually Azure Afternoon isn't even on here. Blueberry Bushel's probably closer, but Boho Blue is in there, but I liked the Azure Afternoon because it was bright. But if you look here on the back of your Designer Series paper, just a tip, it gives you all the colors that match this paper. So if you're not sure what color you want to use, you can think outside the box like I do, or you can just go to that and pull whatever paper you want to use. Okay, so with that said, let's get started. I am going to grab my paper cutter. I'm hoping the sound is okay. We did have some issues with a couple videos with sound. We figured out what happened. There was an update on the software and it changed my settings. So I think we fixed that. I have my microphone in a different place now because I can't have it in front of me anymore because I have a window in front of me. So we're kind of working out where that is as well. So bear with me, there are some changes. I'm getting some water. Okay, 4 1/4 by 11 is our base. So I'm going to grab a piece of this Azure Afternoon and I'm going to cut it 4 1/4. Our sheet of paper is already 11 inches long. So all I'm going to do is pull that. Actually, I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. That's all we needed to do with that. So 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. All right, and then that is simply getting folded in half. I'm going to grab my bone folder and give it a good crease. Set that aside. And then we want to create our 2 pillars for this card. This card does have 2 pillar pieces. And those pillars are going to be 4 1/4 by 7 3/4. Again, you need 2. So this is already cut at 4 1/4. So I'm going to pull out the arm and cut it at 7 3/4. So we've got a nice little scrap for something else. Excuse me. And I'm going to cut out another one, 4 1/4. This is great if you have some large scraps laying around. Check out and see if that will work. I love using up my scraps whenever I can. But if not, that's okay. All right, so we've got 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 11. And so we want to do some scoring on those. So we're going to score those at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inches. So I'm just going to lay that down. 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. And I'm going to set that aside and grab the other one and do the exact same thing. So we've got 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4-inch. I'm going to set those two aside. Now we want some layers for the front. So what I did is I've got a piece of basic white that I'm putting down first. As soon as I figure out where I placed it, here it is. So that piece is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. Do not believe I have any scraps laying around. Maybe I do. Let's see. Let's see what this is. Love it when I can use a scrap. That will work. 4 by 5 1/4. I don't know if you have this problem, but I'm pretty much a paper hoarder when it comes to my scraps. I have so many scraps that every now and then I have to make myself get rid of some, because some of the sizes that I keep are just ridiculous. I'm probably not going to use them. All right, so there is our first layer. And now we're going to grab that beautiful designer series paper, and we're going to cut one at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Now this one is not really directional, but if it was directional, you'd want to be mindful of that. These little birds are flying all over the place, so it's fine. 3 3/4 by 5. So there is our 5 inches. There is our 3 3/4. Just like so. All right, that makes more sense. I looked at that and went, oh, that's not right. So that layers nicely on there. And then we're going to want to add some layers, excuse me, to our pillars. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can just simply add the pillars, add the pieces on the pillars at just a designer series paper piece, or you can layer them on white. Either way works. So I'm going to do 3/4 by 4 inches for the designer series paper. Let's see if I've got, I have 3/4, so I'm gonna utilize that scrap that I messed up on. All right, 3/4 by 4, and let's see, that's too small. I am all about using the scraps when possible. Here's one. I know that works. 3/4. All right. So there are our two side scraps. Now again, you could make this a little bit smaller and add white if you want. You can do that. That works as well. I'm just going to add the designer series paper on this one, and I'll show you how my other one works as well. Now, 2 more pieces. You want to cut 2 pieces of basic white for the inside. So that's basically the panel that the pillars are going to be in, and that's going to be 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. So I'm still using all these scraps. 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. So there is my 4 1/8. So now I'm going to do 3 5/8. All right, and then I'm going to cut one more. I think I'm out of large scraps, so I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so 2 pieces that are 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. All right, we're going to set those 2 aside, and then last but not least, we have our cute little designer series paper. I love this paper so much. It's so adorable. So I am going to make those 3 3.5 by 4. All right, now this is directional, right? So we want to make sure that we cut this exactly right. So the 4 inches is going to be height, and then the 3.5 is width. All right, let me double check that, because yep, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, and I'm just having one of those days today. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the 4 inches first. And then we're going to do 3.5. And the reason I'm doing it this way is so we can have consecutive cuts. So I kind of am creating a scene when the card is close together, when the card panels are close together, and you'll see what that means in just a moment. Okay, so those are going to be layered like that. All right, and then the last piece, which I've already cut because I did some coloring, is you're going to want 2 pieces, excuse me, for the inside of the card. And those are going to be 4 by 4 1/4. And that essentially is our 2 panels for the inside. And I've already did some coloring, so I went ahead and cut that. And don't forget, I'll have all of the cutting and scoring instructions on the bottom. So let's start assembling this card. So first we have that base that was 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I did run my bone folder over it, just like so. So that's looking good. So now we're going to take our 2 pillar, these are our 2 pillar pieces, all right? So we had 4 score lines and 1 larger panel. So these pieces, again, were 4 1/4 by 7 3/4. We cut 2 of them, and then we scored them at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, and 4 inches. So all we need to do now is do some bone folding. So we're going to burnish all of these, make them nice and crisp, just like so. This just always makes sure your cards look nice and professional when you get those nice, clean, crisp edges. And what we're going to be doing is gluing this last panel down just like this to create that pillar. All right, so I'm grabbing my glue press here. Putting a good amount of glue on here. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. You could just butt it up here and turn it. You could also fold it, which is the way I like to do it, and just push it in. And this gives you an opportunity to make sure everything lines up. I like to do it that way. And then you can push it again this way. Do the same thing. And then you know everything opens and closes nicely. And while you're doing all that burnishing, it sets your glue. So there's our first piece. Excuse me, let me get some water. I would have normally waited on this video, but I did some traveling over the holidays, hence me being sick. And so I was needing to get a video done. All right, we're going to do the same thing on this piece. We are going to add our liquid glue. I'm going to fold it over. You know, my husband and I both dodged COVID for 5 whole years. Never got COVID before. Man, I tell you what, I hope I never get it again. That was not fun. And the only reason I knew I had it is I baked a loaf of bread a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't smell the bread, and that's what tipped me off. I was like, wait a minute, why am I not smelling my bread baking? And that's kind of the thing that tips you off that it's not just a cold. So, not fun. All right, so we have our base, and we have our 2 pieces. Now, I like to do some assembling before I start adding all of my panels. So I'm going to go ahead and we had these panels that go on the inside of our card. Excuse me. And so we're going to glue these pieces together. Isn't that back paper beautiful? I am in Lakeland, Florida right now, and it's strawberry season. The strawberries start getting picked very soon. And so I'm really looking forward to all those yummy fresh strawberries for a little while. Because we're very close to Plant City, which is the strawberry capital. All right. And growing up in this area, strawberry season was always a big deal, because all the strawberry farms have these great little strawberry stands where you can get shortcake and milkshakes and all these yummy things. Okay, so that is done. So these are going to go on the inside of our card, just like so. So our card is going to be basically assembled like this. So I'm going to go ahead and add these because it's easier to add these now, in my opinion, before you put everything together. So I'm just adding these with a very narrow margin. This card is so stinking cute. I can't wait. Who am I going to send this card to? I do not know. Wait till you see my other samples. My other sample is showcasing some designer series paper from Sale-A-Bration that coordinates with some products that are in the mini catalog. Love that. Okay, so I'm going to set these to a side. We're going to insert the inside. So these are the two panels that I cut earlier, and I went ahead and colored them using my alcohol markers. But I know a lot of you already know how to use them, but for those of you who don't, let me tell you, the alcohol markers make your colorings look so good. So I did all of my shading except for my ground, so I just very quickly wanted to show you how easy these are. These are basically like Copic markers. And so if you want to give some depth to your images, you can use the lighter shade to do your coloring, and then use the darker shade to do your kind of details. So it just kind of creates a very professional looking image without really knowing how to be a professional artist. I love that. So I did this basically for everything else. I did my coloring. I let that alcohol work its magic. Once it's dried, I went back over it with the darker marker because every marker comes with a lighter and a darker version. And then I just go back over with the lighter marker and just soften those lines. Just like so. Just pulling that color together. And you don't get streaks like you would get with normal markers going over things, which I love. And it's very relaxing to sit and do this. It's funny, my daughters both bought Copic markers and coloring books for Christmas. And they are really enjoying it. They love the streak-free look that these kind of markers give your artwork. So lots of fun. All right, so now that gives it a little bit more depth. So now that's perfect. So all we need to do is stamp our greeting. I grabbed let me show you these stamps. Look at these stamps. So cute. These Storybook Friends stamps have tons and tons of little critters that are really fun to color. You've got a garden, you've got a wall, lots of sayings. They coordinate with the Storybook Garden stamps and dies as well, which is an added bonus. And the dies are fabulous. Now, let me show you these dies really quick. These dies not only die cut the little critters, but look at these frames. These frames are great all year round. So super excited about this new product. All right, so we are going to use the Somebody Loves You greeting. I've grabbed my Asia Afternoon stamp pad because I want to coordinate everything. And we're just going to stamp that down. I'm going to pull it down a little so I can see it. See if I can get this pretty straight. You know what? I'm going to take it off this white background. With my lighting, it's hard to see. And I'm just going to stamp that down. There we go. All right. Clean this off. Super easy. And these are ready to go into the card. Again, we have a little scene going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and add some liquid glue. And I'm just going to leave a small little narrow margin. Just like that. Make sure it's straight. Struggling with the straight today. That looks good. And do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now that those are on there, we're ready to add these. And so these simply go up, butted up against the edge of the card. So all you have to do is put your liquid glue down, just like so. I usually just kind of flatten it out and line it up toward the edge of the card. And then once I'm happy with it, I like to just pick the card up and stack it all and make sure it's all straight, and then just run my bone folder over it. Just like that. So there we go. See how perfect that is? So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right. Flattening it a little bit. Lining it up. Once I get it to where I think is right, I'm just going to adjust it. This one slid on me a little bit. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to use my bone folder. Give it a good crease. Voila. So there is the inside of our card done. Of course, it folds completely flat, just like that. So now we can work on the front. So I like to start out by adding my layers first. That way it's easier to work on this than to work here with all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Love this sky paper. It's so lovely. It's so pretty. And it's one of those fabulous scene papers that we all love. Okay. Just giving that a nice little layer. And I have picked all my pieces that I'm going to use ahead of time to decorate this card. One of the things I did grab are these two banners. And I die cut those from the die that coordinates with Peaceful Season. So even if you have Christmas items, pull them out because you'd be surprised how much you can use throughout the year. So I went ahead and die cut a blue one and a white one right from there. So I'm going to be able to use that long after Christmas. All right, and so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stamp on it. So I grabbed the Hello Friend stamp, and I'm going to just do it in black. So I've got my Memento ink. And I'm going to pull it off screen really quick because this is a tiny little stamp. And I'm going to ink it up just like that. All right. Excuse me. I don't think I've done so much talking in a while, so bear with me. I apologize for my coughing. Can't be helped. I gotta get this video done, right? People are gonna wonder what happened if I don't. Okay. I'm cutting away, just cutting that away. It's 4 little snips. And now I'm going to attach it to the front of this tag. Look how cute that is. Now you could make it pop up with some dimensionals. I think I'll do that. Or you can just glue it down. Either way works. So this happens to be perfect size for mini dimensionals. And just going to glue that right over top. So now you get that little ribbon effect. All right, so there we go. All right, so now I have pulled all these little pieces and I just want to create my little scene. So I've got my little fence here and my inquisitive little bunny girl. And I've got some greenery because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use. I kind of like this because it pulls in what's on the front. I have this little gardener friend, and I know I grabbed 2 butterflies, so there must be one hiding somewhere. I also have this, but I'm not sure I need it, so which one do we like better? Kind of like that one. Let's use that one. I don't know what happened to my other butterfly. Maybe he'll pop up. We'll see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dimensionals to these pieces here, just to make them pop up. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that work with the fence. Love my dimensionals. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now if you feel like you need to add more, grab your little ones, your minis, and you can fill in if you need to. Mine looks pretty balanced. I think I'll put one right here. All right, I'm going to quickly pull all these little tabs off with my Take Your Pick tool. I put these press-on nails on 2.5 weeks ago. They haven't come off, and I'm so ready for them to come off. So I think after this video, they're coming off because I can't do anything with them on. I don't know how people with real nails, or I should say manicures, do it. All right. So I decided I wanted this popped up, but I wanted to do it in a way that keeps my fence on as well. So what I came up with is just add my fence to it, just like that. See? And then I don't have to worry about it. So I just kind of put my fence in place, just like so. Now I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue to this guy. And I'm just basically building my scene. That's really all I'm doing. So I'm going to set him aside, figure out where I want this. I think I want it about here. And we're going to put him right here. Just like that. And I'm going to add this over here in the corner. I just want to make sure everything's balanced. Add a little bit of glue. Look how cute. So cute. All right. Now, I wish I could find my other butterfly. It has flown off. Don't see it. Don't know where it went. Unless it's on the floor. But I don't see it. So we do have one butterfly. So what I'm going to do is take my bone folder and I'm going to give some life to this little butterfly. Just like so. Just curled his wings a little bit. And you could use a glue dot or just use some liquid glue, whatever works. And we're just going to make that butterfly fly around. If I ever find the other butterfly, it's going to fly around with it. Just don't know where it is. All right. Look how cute. All right, so that looks pretty good. So now we're just going to add some liquid glue to the back. Just like so. And add it to the front of our card. Just like that. Such a sweet little card. All right, and then the only thing we have left is our 2 panels. Remember these 2 panels that we cut? So that is going to pull in the designer series paper that's on the front. And remember, you can create this layered on a different color. But for this card, I'm just going to pop it on there as is. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. That looks good. I wish I could find my butterfly, but you know, there we go. Look how cute this card is. So when you open it up, I mean, this scene is gorgeous. Now you could add some embellishments to this if you wanted, add some Wink of Stella, or keep it simple. There's plenty of room to write, and to write on it, I mean, you just put your hand in there and sign it. It's not hard at all. It folds up flat, and it just makes the sweetest card. So here's the card I did earlier with 2 butterflies. I added a layer of white underneath the designer series paper, but I colored everything else exactly the same way. But I wanted to show you the difference, so if you wanted to add white, you can. Just as simple. And of course this one I did in a pink, and this one I did in more of a peach pie, or whatever shade this is. It looks kind of like peach pie. So super simple, super pretty. It's not a hard card. There's just a lot of little cuts and scores, but it's not a big deal. All right, let me show you the other card I made. Love this card. This card, totally different vibe, very playful. And it comes from the new Mini Catalog. It's terrific toadstools. Got it tagged here. Right here, look how cute. These stamps are adorable. You get all these little toadstools, and it comes with, if you purchase the bundle, or purchase it as a bundle, you can get the toadstool punch, and it punches out all these little mushrooms, and it gives you a stem. Super cute, very easy to work with, very easy to color, very easy to fussy cut. Really, really like it. But the bonus is that if you spend $60 and you want to pick out something great in celebration, guess what? You can pick out the designer series paper for free. This designer series paper is so stinking cute, and it makes the cutest cards. So let me show you the designer series paper. I've actually gotten 2 packs of this now because I love it so much. But look how bright and happy. Look at this paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the colors. I love the backgrounds. They can be used all year long with lots of different colors, lots of different feels. Super, super fun. Kind of funky. Love it. So I created this card using Granny Apple Green, Smoky Slate, and Melon Mambo, all colors that are in this designer series paper. And I fussy cut and used the punch. So very, very versatile. I added some butterflies. I added some Wink of Stella. This is just a piece of designer series paper that I cut out with the punch. And I added some Wink of Stella to give it a little sparkle. I did some layering. I used masks. I created some masks with my stamps to do the stems. But look at this paper. I mean, it does all the work for you. Gorgeous paper. And I did some stamping to coordinate with the little mushrooms that are in the paper. So super fun, super cute. Popping it up to say hi. Love this stamp set so much. And then I wanted to show you, you can totally, don't forget about your items that you already have from the current catalog. I created this card with the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. I added some adhesive back pearls. And this all comes from this suite of products. And then this is the Thoughtful Journey designer series paper. As you can see, it's well loved. Did I tell you I happen to hang on to every scrap? But this paper made putting this card together so pretty. This card fold is great for those scenes. So I just picked a scene I liked. I cut it down. I used some twine, and then I heat embossed Dearest Friend in white but I just kept using that paper to make this gorgeous card. And then I did very minimal stamping. Love this card. Totally different look. And as you can see, you don't have to have brand new stuff to make these cards. Use what you have. Take a look at what you have in your stash and see what will work with these fun folds. So here you go. New mini catalog and some free stuff from the celebration and something beautiful from our current products in the annual catalog. So there you go. There is the pop-up book card. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know I coughed and I know you had to hear it, and I'm sorry. I just needed to get this video out for you. I don't want you to wait, so hopefully you can forgive my illness. I am on the mend, and I will see you next week with a whole new card and a whole new set of brand new products to show off. I'm Jill, the Wandering Stamper. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on my link for all the cutting instructions, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.